It's time for the Michelle Dawn Mooney Show.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited to see you. I'm hoping my voice is going to hold out. It's been going up and down and in and out, and it's just been a little crazy. So you will hear there are portions of this program that have been previously recorded. I feel like I've been living in this outfit the last couple of days. And there's a series of different tones in my voice, as you can hear, as we go from interview to interview, because sometimes I've had a little bit more of a voice. Other times I have not had as much voice. So I am so excited to be with you. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I hope we're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm trying to see if I can turn on comments, and I don't know if I will be able to do so, but thank you. Thank you. Oh, I can see you. Hello. Hey, Kenny, Harsha, Laurie. Oh, George. Hi, Fran. Hey, baby. My husband's tuning in. He's baby cakes. So here's the deal. We're doing a Top Gun military tribute. It's a salute to our troops, because what could be better than not only celebrating a really cool movie, but it's Memorial Day right around the corner, and this is going to be a show dedicated to our military and just how phenomenal the men and women who sign up to do the jobs that they do are. So I am excited. I cannot wait for you to meet the guests that we have on tonight, and I'm really looking forward to this. Hello, Warren. My mom's watching too. So here's the deal with this. This is our first show, and many of you remember me from doing news. We're not doing news. So if you're expecting any type of anything with an update on any news stories, that's not what we're going to do today. This is my chance to talk about things that I really love and are thinking they're fun and interesting that you will love as well. And I just want to share that with you, because I think we need to have a little bit of a, an upswing. So that's what this show is going to be about. But wait till you hear some of the crazy things that my first guest has been doing with what we're talking about. It's the military tribute show, but it is the Top Gun Maverick military tribute show. So disclaimer, I'm just going to say this, and this is after some of the interviews that were done in this show. I've seen the movie. Who's seen the movie? Hey, Joey. Who has seen the movie? Comments. I have to know if you've seen it. I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to spoil it, but I'm just curious. If you have seen it, Top Gun Maverick, let me know in the comments. I feel like this is a little crooked. There we go. I just made it more crooked. So I'll tell you this. It was phenomenal. And I don't want to give too much away, because we have a movie reviewer. He actually talks about these things, and he knows a little bit more about movies than I do. He's going to join us. JD Duran is coming up in a few minutes. But yeah, my husband saw it because we saw it together. He said it was amazing. Fran, not yet. You have to go. Well, we're going to give away tickets. We're going to try to give away tickets. And I'm going to tell you why it's a trying process, because we're going to see if technically I can figure out how to work that. But it is just phenomenal. 36 years in the making. Can't wait for you to see it if you have not already seen it, which I think most people probably have not, but maybe two people can after you win some tickets tonight. So I want to bring on my first guest, and I am thrilled that I was able to connect with him. He is a captain in the Navy Reserve. He's actually a commercial airline pilot by trade, but get this, he was the technical director, but he was the aerial coordinator for Top Gun Maverick. So basically, if you see the movie, even if you see the trailer, you'll see crazy things going on with planes. Just crazy. He was basically in charge of making sure that nothing got broken, nobody got broken, and that everything was done in a way that the Navy would be able to stand tall and proud, and that a really good movie could be made with protecting everybody at the helm. So I cannot wait for you to meet him. Actually, I just spoke with him on the phone. He is out on the West Coast. He is on his way to a premiere. He has been with all the top celebrities, all the stars at so many different premieres. And I'm so excited that he was able to share a few minutes with me in between all of this craziness. So I'm going to introduce you to Captain Brian Ferguson. He is a Navy Reserve captain, and once again, the technical director and aerial coordinator for Top Gun Maverick, and really just a great guy and Wait till you hear what he has to talk about with this movie. Pretty awesome. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited to have you. So I don't even know where to start. So first of all, let's go back 36 years because I read something that the first Top Gun movie kind of gave you a little bit of a feeling that, hey, maybe I want to do that. So is that kind of where this all started?
It is. So like a lot of other people that were in high school, college at that time, we saw this amazing, iconic film that literally defined a generation, from filmmaking to music to the military, the Navy, and naval aviation in particular. And you couldn't watch the film, the original, and it'll be the same with this one. You couldn't watch it and not be inspired, at least to think, wow, that's something really special. I knew naval aviation was something very special, and I immediately got drawn to it and started going to air shows, watched the Blue Angels, and just decided that is what I wanted to do for my life, was to land fighters on aircraft carriers and defend America and freedom in combat. And it was a great advantage to me as a young person to have a clearly defined goal, because that was the only tracks for the railroad was going to do that. It makes it, I wouldn't necessarily say easy, because it wasn't particularly easy to get there, but it makes it achievable. So that was what brought me into it. That started my path 30 some years ago towards being, a uniformed Navy fighter pilot.
And as you talked about the movie, I mean, it really it changed everything. Everybody who watched it, I think it changed our thought process in some way. And with the military, the good part is a lot of people were given that insight of just how cool, first of all, it is to be a jet pilot, but just so many things with the Navy and loss and love. And it's a wonderful, beautiful story. But with that, the intensity of what these men and now women is going to be shown in the new movie have to go through. I mean, what was that like to try to get people who are not familiar with that and get them up to speed in a short amount of time?
Yeah, sure. So backing up, you hit the nail on the head when you said cool job. Navy fighter pilot is literally the coolest job in the world. And I get these actors from the movie that say it's pretty cool being a movie star, but your job's cooler. It is the sport of kings, I'll tell you that. So we had an amazing cast. And we put them all in the jets. So every time you see an actor in a jet, it is an actor or actress in a jet pulling 7Gs, going 500 miles an hour, upside down. So to do that, we had to put them through the same survival training that any of us that do this for a living would have to do. A lot of people get sick in airplanes just flying around in a little airplane, and they can't get over it. And these folks, this is a career-making move. They had to get over it. And of course, there were some people that got sick in the airplane. The one I'll mention is because I'm looking over my shoulder at the flag of Texas, and Glenn Powell is from Texas. And I can do this because he just talked about it on Jimmy Kimmel the other night. He was such a trooper, because we do these horrible things to him physiologically in the airplane, and he would say, "Okay, stop," and he'd get sick, and then he'd go right back into it, and he'd come back and he'd get the take, and it would be amazing. We're doing all this at 7.5 Gs, and it's hot in the airplane, and it's uncomfortable, and it's cramped. I was amazed at how well the cast, not just Glenn, but all of them did. They had to go through a grueling, not only the training process to get them through water survival, but to just be in the airplane. It's physically demanding being in a tactical jet aircraft, especially if you're not used to it.
I can only imagine, and I say only imagine because I take Benadryl or Dramamine to go around the quarter sometimes. So with that training with the actors, you have got to experience so many things in your mind, I would think, because I mean, they are Hollywood actors. Some of them are just newer actors coming on where they haven't been seen in a lot of things, which will all change with this movie. But what was it like for you to be on that side of, you're meeting Tom Cruise, Hollywood royalty, and getting to work with them? And how was that, working with them and taking direction from you, because you are the man in the know?
Well, so it was fascinating, to say the least. I'll tell you this. I had a preconceived notion about Hollywood writ large, and it was they're all going to be entitled, stuck up. It's going to be a challenge. I'm going to have to babysit them. And I was completely wrong in all those things. Everyone from cast to crew to everybody involved with this process was amazing. They were literally the Top Guns of the film industry. They were as good as anyone gets. And then you look at, obviously, Tom Cruise, biggest movie star in the world, does amazing films, does his own stunts. I had preconceived notions, and I was not looking forward to it. And they shattered all those. Wonderful people, all of them, and as good as they get at their craft. They're devoted, they're experts, and you'll see when you watch the film that there's a reason why they are considered the best. As we say in the first movie, is Top Gun, is the best of the best. But it was a true success story of common goal. Everybody working together, everybody rowing hard, everybody in it for the bigger picture. And when I say bigger picture, I mean all of these cast and crew. They, it's a business, right? They want to get box office and they want to make money. But I'll tell you, having worked with all of them, they were in it for America. And that was, I think, the huge success story.
Did it take you back to when you were first starting out and when you had to do that training? Because it's so realistic, because, they're literally going through the steps that you did when you first started doing that.
Yeah. And, at first Paramount said, hey, can we just waive that, or can we just do part of it? And I go, I can't take responsibility for something happening. So I said, no, we gotta have them prepared so that if something were to happen, they are as capable and ready as we are as naval aircrew to get out of the airplane, to eject, or to land in the water, land in the desert, get out of the parachute. So we made them go through the whole thing, and it was it did bring back some thoughts. I have to do that every few years to stay current in airplanes. So it wasn't like I was looking back 20 years at something I did. It's I did it 4 years ago. So, but it was tough, and they everybody did it. Even Tom, he goes, well, I did this, so I already did this. And I go, Tom, that was almost 40 years ago. You got to do it again. And he did it. He went through, and it was he did great. So everybody did great. I was very proud of the cast and everybody involved.
So let's talk about reality versus. We all know movies have the CGI and they can do whatever they want in editing, but how much are we really seeing that is true to life, that they were doing their thing and that's going to be in the film?
These are the most complex aerial scenes ever filmed, and they're perfect. And you watch the 800 hours of video we shot to put in, I don't know, there's 30 minutes of airplanes in a 2.25 hour movie. And that's the best 30 minutes of 800 hours, and everything else just didn't make the cut. And it was all spectacular. When you see airplanes down at, well below 50 feet doing 550, 600 miles an hour, that was actually a Navy airplane with, in that case, a Blue Angel. We knew it wasn't going to look right unless we did it that way. So that's what I get asked most about is, hey, the really low stuff, that wasn't real, was it? And that was actually very real. Very minimal CGI. Almost everything you see is actual airplanes doing actual things with real actors in the back. And of course, Tom, he's a skilled pilot. He's incredibly professional, hardworking, dedicated guy. And it was great working with him as a skilled aviator because I was responsible for all the aerial stuff, making sure we didn't bend or break or crash an airplane. We didn't hurt anybody, scare anybody. So when we'd be doing these really long briefs, because I had to brief the entire evolution before it went, some of it can get administratively grueling, but it was all important. And he made sure that everybody was paying attention, listening, and he never, he respected my risk management and my safety approach because I think he knew that it was going to keep people alive. Because everybody talks about Tom does his own stunts and Tom, does all this amazing stuff when he's making a movie, and the stuntmen are all look bored and the insurance guys all look nervous. And that's really how it was. The stuntmen, I'm like, hey, Bob, what are you doing today? He goes, nothing. And then, you look at the insurance guy and he's, on his 14th cup of coffee because he hates what's going on because Tom's doing all this super high adrenaline, dangerous stuff. But, he's a pilot, so he flies the airplanes in the movies.
I read something about, I don't know if I have this exact number, but something like 500% increase in recruitment after the first Top Gun movie. So this, no doubt, will hopefully do the same thing. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, a lot of people may be wondering how much it costs the Navy to be a part of the movie. And a very interesting answer there, because this really was a win-win situation for everybody involved, especially for the Navy looking to get the word out and hopefully get more recruitment. So talk to us about that.
Literally every minute of every flight time on the jet and everything we did. And, I would be sending these bills to Paramount to have to pay, and I can't talk costing data, but it was not an inexpensive film to make. and they had to write checks to the U.S. Treasury, and then that would trickle back down into the Navy's budgetary system. So I would say that was a spectacularly effective investment strategy to spend no money and get what I think is going to be the biggest recruiting tool for the Navy in, well, the last 36 years.
Brian, thank you so much for joining me. This has been great. And I can't say this enough, but congratulations, because job well done, and so exciting to see what your work behind the scenes has culminated in with this movie.
Well, I was a very small part of it, but I was glad to have my input, and I hope they, like you said, you phrased it so well that they really get a sense of what this means. As you know, Tom calls it a love letter to aviation, which is very eloquent and well said. I look at it as a testament to the people that are out there every day and every night around the world, on the decks of ships, on the submarines, standing the watch, making it so that you and I can have this interview and have the American flag flying out here, and not, somebody else's flag and, Red Dawn and tanks in the streets. It's the Navy's here so that we go fight somewhere else, and nobody has to worry about it at home. So that's a testament to all the people out there, my heroes that are out there deployed right now around the world, and certainly the people who have, given the ultimate and don't get to come home. When you do this job long enough, there was a line in the first movie, you do this long enough, it's going to happen. Cliche maybe, but it's true. I've flown fighters for a long time, and I've been to a lot of funerals. We all have. And we count ourselves lucky to be standing next to the other folks in the uniform at the ceremony. And it's the price of freedom. It's what gets us to where we can, have this interaction or go to the movies. That's what makes all that possible. So I'm happy to be a part of it, whether it's the film or the Navy writ large, and all of my brothers and sisters that do it with me.
And you said America is the big win. That's kind of the underlying all around factor, and so excited for this. Thank you, Brian, for your time. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to having more people see the movie.
Go see it. Go see it twice. I've seen it a few times. I go to all the premieres, and I've seen it several times, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. It's a great movie. You're going to love it. I guarantee it.
Brian Ferguson, Captain Brian Ferguson, was he not terrific? And as I told you, if you missed the first few minutes, he actually called me. We were checking up on some last minute details with that interview, and he is on his way to a big premiere on the West Coast tonight, he and his wife. And here's a really cool aspect that he completely failed to leave out. Very humble. My husband and I saw the film last night. We were just blown away. It was just spectacular, but I will save that for the movie review, because I'm not the movie reviewer. We have somebody who's the professional to do that in a few minutes. But I saw this character, very short scene, and I said, that looks like Brian. And you'll know if you see the movie. I was joking with him, we're going to do like a Where's Waldo. I said, Brian, did you have a role in it at all? And he said, yeah, I was actually in it a few times. Didn't mention a word. Didn't even say he was in the movie. I would have been telling everybody I'm in the new Top Gun movies. I didn't think it was a big deal. So if you go to the movie, I want you to look for Brian, and his wife is actually in a scene too. I don't want to give too much detail, but it's in the first. Actually, it's not in the first. It's in a scene that takes place in a bar. We will say that. But look for Brian. So he's like, yeah, I should have worn my striped shirt. Brian Ferguson, captain, once again with the Navy Reserve. And how cool is that to be the technical director, and also, taking care of the aerial craziness, as you will see in this film, and you've probably already seen in the trailer, but super, super awesome guy. And what a shout out this movie is to our military. So it was just such a joy to have him. And I want to thank him again for joining me for that interview, because it made me even more excited to see the film. I can't wait for you to see it. So our next guest actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to movies. He is a movie reviewer. He has been for years. InSessionFilm.com. If you are a movie buff, you definitely want to check it out. And we are two kind of kids in a candy store right now with this movie, because both of us are extremely excited, which you will see in this interview. We're going to get the take from JD. Is the movie worth it? Is it worth more than 3 decades, almost 4 decades, 3.5 decades, I guess? Is it worth it? Here's JD. Thanks for joining us, JD.
Absolutely. It's great to see you again. I love this.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I'm always so excited to have you because we're always talking about fun stuff. And as you can see,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this just a little bit.
As one should. Yeah.
Just geeking out a little bit. Not as much probably as
Yeah.
you are with Star Wars, if we're talking about Star Wars. But so you saw the film. You were one of the first people to kind of get like the sneak preview because it officially doesn't release until the 27th nationwide. So 36 years we've been waiting for this film. It's a long time.
A lot of people has been waiting for this for a long time. The original Top Gun was a staple of my childhood. I absolutely love it. I would urge people, if you haven't seen the original in a while, to give that a go before watching this sequel. Or if you haven't seen it, definitely watch the original because it definitely helps. There's a lot with the drama and emotion of this film that stems directly from the first movie. One of the young actors is the son of Goose in this movie. There is a lot to that character in this film regarding his relationship with Maverick, what that has been over the last 20 years, and where that picks up with the events of this movie. The way the movie handles that is, obviously there's a lot of fun to be had when they're in the cockpit and doing all the flying, but emotionally, in terms of the writing, the performances, the dynamic of that is incredible. It is so, so good. They also bring back Iceman into this movie in a way as well. I don't want to give too much away there because it's a small role and it's pretty impactful as well. The movie on the whole does a great job of hearkening back to the spirit of that first movie. And then the aerial footage is just unbelievable. Obviously, I urge everyone to see it on the biggest screen they can possibly find.
With
see
the
it
sound,
in
because
IMAX.
you got to hear those jets, right?
The sound, all of that. Yeah, the roar of the engines it'll litter the theater. Will rumble the seats. It's so good.
Well, we talked earlier to Captain Brian Ferguson, who was the technical advisor and, talked about being the aerial coordinator. And we talked about CGI and the use of CGI, why it is so prevalent in so many movies. And it really is not in this film. And the training that those actors had to go through, I cannot wait for people to see this.
It is the definition of a summer blockbuster. And for my money, one of the best you'll find this year, hands down.
JD Duran, InSessionFilm.com. Of course, if you are a big movie buff, as JD is, you will definitely want to check that out because you're always talking about some great movies. But this is one that I have been so excited to talk to you about because I have been waiting since I saw the trailer in 2020 and then COVID kept pushing and pushing and pushing. But here we are. Yeah. It's finally here. And I'm so happy you were able to join us today. JD, thanks. Always great seeing you.
Yeah, great seeing you as well. Thanks for having me.
All right, JD, we'll see you soon. Hopefully not in 36 years. We'll wait for another movie.
Exactly. I'll be back sooner than that.
Yes. All right. Take care. Always love having JD join me because he really is the man in the know. And there's so much that he could have gone on about the film because he is able to pick up on those nuances that the average person can't pick up. And he went into great detail with some of the scenes, one in particular, and this is going to be a spoiler alert, okay? You ready for this? But it won't ruin anything for you. Promise. Kind of, sort of. So you may be thinking, will there be a volleyball scene? Asking for a friend. Janet, if you're watching, I got you. And it was a big scene. We know the volleyball scene. I don't have to go into description. There is no volleyball scene in this movie. However, there is another sports athletic scene that takes place. It's just not with volleyball. So didn't want to burst your bubble, but just brought it back up there. So there will be some type of scene that is similar to the volleyball scene for all of you fans of the volleyball scene. Just want to put that out there. All right. So here's the deal. I want to do some trivia. I want to see if we can try to bring some music. And Brian Ferguson was actually watching Captain Ferguson and was chiming in there, trying to put some comments up there. And he's getting lots of love with these comments because people were just loving what he had to say. It was such a great interview. It was such a pleasure to get a chance to meet him. So I want to see if we can put some music on here and see if we can do a little bit of
trivia. So let's see if I can. Can you hear me and the music at the same time? Okay. So let's take that down a little bit. All right. So who wants to play some trivia? Show of hands, show of thumbs up. Here's how we're going to work it. I said we're going to try to give away movie tickets. Oh, nobody wants to win movie tickets? Nobody's giving me any love. No thumbs up. Nobody wants to go to the movies. Not one person wants to go to the movies? All right. Well, it's really an engagement type of activity. So if we play the trivia, if I can get one winner. All right, we've got one person who's going to play. So basically, I'm going to look to the comments. And the first, all right, we've got some thumbs up now. Perfect. All right, here we go. So here's the first question. And basically the first person who just gets the answer in your comments as soon as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 questions. You ready? Okay, it's going to be fun. Okay, I want to double check to make sure that I have this right. This was very interesting to me because as you heard the captain talk about people getting sick. I mean, I'm totally being honest when I say that I have to take Dramamine sometimes when I literally go on a very short car ride. So it's not pretty sometimes. So apparently there was one actor in the original Top Gun who was the only actor who did not get sick in the jet. Which actor was that? After we ran out of music. Who was the actor in the original Top Gun that was the only one who did not get sick in the original Top Gun movie? So basically, like Glenn Powell, Captain Ferguson was saying, Glenn Powell was the only one, or was the one that he mentioned, who got sick. It was not Tom Cruise. Davey Wavy, thanks for joining. Good to see you. It is not Tom Cruise. Okay, so by process of elimination, the only actor who did not get sick in the plane for the original Top Gun movie. It is not Tom Cruise. We have ruled him out. So you can try again. Anthony Edwards. All right, one for Harsha. All right. Harsha has it. It is Anthony Edwards. Okay, so we are moving on. This is a good one. What 80s brat packer turned down the role of Charlie because she didn't think anybody would want to watch a movie with fighter pilots? And later she regretted it. It's a brat packer. What brat packer from the 1980s turned down the role of Charlie and later regretted it because it's Top Gun? But she's an 80s brat packer. It's maybe a little bit hard. Not Demi Moore. What 80s brat packer turned down the role of Charlie because she did not think anybody would watch the film about fighter pilots? Not Demi Moore. We've got Demi Moore, so we're process of elimination of brat packers. All right, I'm going to ask another question while we wait for the first answer. We're still waiting for the 80s brat packer who turned down the role of Charlie, Kelly McGillis's role, because she did not think it would be watched. I don't see a lot of options here. Ali Sheedy. Yes, Fran. You got it. All right. And later she said that yep, Stephanie, you're a little bit too late, but you got it. All right, let's cue up the music one more time. We're going to play this music. I should have put this on a loop. All right, so the third question. Which character was kicked off of a ship? Which actor who played a character was kicked off a ship for mouthing off to one of the superiors in the Navy? So it's an actor who got mad. He mouthed off to somebody in the Navy and they kicked him off the ship. I'll give you a hint. Not that this will help you, but he was my favorite in the volleyball scene. Just saying. That's not going to help anybody. He was my favorite. If you can't get it, I have another hint. Because how's that going to help you? He apparently was not great with hygiene. Come on. But he was still cute when I was like 11. Not Val Kilmer. Nope. Not Val Kilmer. Rick Rossovich, Susan. He was my favorite. Slider. Okay. All right, we've got one more. We're going to have a tiebreaker. Okay, so you know what? Let's do between we've got our players now. No. My husband's trying to chime in. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through our 3 top. We've got Harsha. We've got Fran House. We've got Susan. Got to make sure. Susan, you know who you are. Okay, 3 of you are playing this, okay? We're going to have a tiebreaker here because you all have 1 point. This might be a hard one. I don't know. All right, 2 stars. Are you ready? 2 stars who ended up being a couple after filming. 2 stars who ended up being a couple after filming. And I'm going to cough. I'm so sorry. I'm going to mute my microphone. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'm so sorry about that. All right, we've got no one answering this question. Harsha, Fran, Susan. Nobody knows. 2 characters or 2 actors. No, they have to be in Top Gun, Harsha. I'm sorry. I should have double corrected that it's Top Gun. I need both answers. It's between Harsha, Fran, and Susan. The first one who gives me the 2 actors. Fran's trying. I gotta take another sip of water. Remember I told you my voice going in and out? The funny thing was when Captain Ferguson and I were doing the interview, I went into a coughing fit. And it was a really good question, which I'll actually share with you now. We had to cut it from the interview. But if you've seen the Lady Gaga music video, it's not Kelly McGillis and Fred Tillman. I don't even know who Fred Tillman is. I don't even know who he is, Harsha. You've got mad knowledge of the actors in that movie. A little side note, it is a hard one, George. Should I pick an easier one? A little side note that I can give you from the interview that Captain Ferguson that you just saw. I'm going to cue up that music again. He told me that the Lady Gaga music video, which I don't know if you've seen that, I can't afford to play it with all of the royalties and rights and all of that. So anyway, if you watch the video, it's phenomenal. And you will see Lady Gaga, and there is a plane that goes flying over her in this big scene. It's fantastic. And guess who was flying the plane? Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, because he flies his own planes. He has a PT. It's a 1941 from World War II, and it's in pristine condition, and apparently he just flies it all over the place. So interesting little tidbit. Okay, so we have no takers. We're going to have to wind this down now. All right, last question. We're going to try to break this and make this an easy one. I don't know if you're going to get that one either. Okay, here you go. How much do they charge you? Does the real Top Gun school charge you as a fine if any of the staff members quote the film Top Gun? It's between Harsha, Fran, and Susan. You know that you all have 1 point. So the first one to tell me and gets it right, you're going to win the tickets. Who's got it? Come on, guys. This is it. Just you can just guess. You can just guess. No? You guys are going to make me cue up the music again. All right. I don't know what to do. Nobody's giving the answers. All right. I've got to come up with one more. If I have to play this music one more time. All right. This is it. We have got to get a winner, people, because you really want to see this movie. It's just you're only hurting yourself. $5. Harsha. Thank you. All right. Let's get the applause. We have our winner. Where is our applause? Yay, finally. It's not $5 million, Joe. All right, so Harsha, you are our big winner. Congratulations. And we will be in touch to email you tickets. We're going to give you your tickets of choice. We have a couple of options depending on where you are. So we will take care of that for you. So this has been so much fun. We're not going to do a typical end of the show because I told you this is a tribute to our military. And I want to thank, of course, all of our guests today. Captain Brian Ferguson, who is a captain with the Navy Reserve, who was technical director and aerial coordinator for Top Gun Maverick, who was fabulous. It was such a pleasure meeting you, Brian, and I can't wait to see the movie again to look for you and your wife in the scenes that we talked about. Also, JD Duran, who was giving us some great movie advice. You heard him. Summer blockbuster. This is the film, and I will tell you, my husband and I, we are not movie reviewers by any stretch of the imagination, but it was fantastic. We even got a pin. I don't know where my pin is. Here it is. It's just so wonderful. And Top Gun was wonderful. Everything visually, you have to see it in IMAX because you can feel it. It's just a great, great movie. And how I want to end the show today is not how we will normally end the show. But as I said, this is a tribute to our military.